Hey everybody, welcome back to the Stuff of Legend. My name is D'Lo. I've got another video for you guys here today. It's a very special one because we're getting started with a whole lot more in the realm of fan casting. And so I wanted to begin to fan cast for you guys in the spirit of the Fox Disney deal about to come to a close in the next couple months. I wanted to give you guys the MCU Fantastic Four Reed Richards Mr. Fantastic fan casting. So this is one that I've been wanting to do for a long time now. But it's just the amount of time it takes to actually run a YouTube channel that keeps up with movies and TV. It's very difficult to try to do that and maintain a working, social, marital, fatherly life. Very difficult, but I want to make that happen for you guys. I want to make sure that you guys are getting plenty of awesome content. And also, I've got a lot coming in the near future for you guys. A lot of really cool videos that I'm planning, collaborating with other people on a lot of different projects. It's going to be a lot of fun. 2019 is really exciting and it's ramping up and getting pretty crazy really fast. So I have this for you, but I want to just, instead of wasting a whole bunch of time, I want to jump right in and let you guys know that with the MCU about to get the Fox characters, including the Fantastic Four, I wanted to start fan casting these guys for you. So let's kick off with the first family's father figure, Reed Richards himself. So I'm going to go ahead and cut right over here. First, let's take a look. We can see that obviously down here at the bottom right, you see that Ian Gruffudd, Miles Teller, Owen Judge, and James Marsters have played Reed Richards in various iterations. So Ian Gruffudd has played him in live action back in early 2000s. Miles Teller, I think that was the 2015 edition of the Fant Four-Stick movie, which flopped hard, not because of the actors, but just because of, I think, it was miscasting. Terrible script, terrible writing, bad stories, misunderstanding of the characters, altogether just horrible. That was tragic. And then also the Fantastic Four, I believe the TV show, voice actor Owen Judge, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe he played like the kid version or something of Reed Richards. Oh no, yeah, I think that's what it was. Owen Judge was the live action kid version in the flashback sequence to Miles Teller. And then James Marsters, who is currently on Marvel's Runaways. He is the superhero show, the Marvel Superhero Squad show. That's what he's from. And so with that out of the way, we have those guys who have played the character before. Reed Richards is very important to me, very important to a lot of people. He's got to be that father figure who's, he's in a relationship, he's in love with Sue, but he struggles between being a total workaholic nerd. He's so wickedly intelligent, so mentally powerful. Sometimes he forgets the little things and he forgets the things that are important, like social relationships, a wife, his brother-in-law, his best friend. Sometimes he struggles socially because he's so intellectually advanced. We need someone for this role that's going to be that. And I honestly felt like Ian Gruffudd really captured that in the early 2000s. I really liked him playing the role. However, we're probably not going to get that. Marvel's not really into recasting older actors who have previously played that. They'll recast them and put them in a new role, but they don't want to confuse the audience too much by putting an older actor in a disconnected universe into their Marvel Cinematic Universe. It might throw off the whole thing. People get really confused about that. So let's jump right ahead. First up on my list, I have 5 main picks for you guys, and then I also have a couple bonus picks. Actually, I have 3 bonus picks. First up, we have Rob Lowe. Rob Lowe, you guys might know from Parks and Recreations, possibly. You might have seen The West Wing. You also, like other roles that he's been in have been like Youngblood, Code Black, Wayne's World, Super Troopers 2. He's been in a lot of things. He's done some work on Family Guy. A lot of really cool jobs that he's done. But one thing that really stood out to me, I didn't really appreciate this actor until I saw him on Parks and Recreation, where he got to play the role that was kind of like a really like fun, upbeat, kind of quirky, constantly happy, constantly positive character. I don't know why I'm blanking on the name here, but he played, let me see, Parks and Rec. Why am I forgetting this? I'm so sorry, guys. This is going to absolutely kill me. Chris Traeger. He plays Chris Traeger. So that's who he plays. He plays a character that's in love with the best friend of the main actress, Amy Poehler. And this guy is 5'11", so it's not like the tallest guy on my list. And height isn't a major factor in Reed Richards' character, because his ability, his superpower is that he stretches. He's not himself already like 7 feet tall. He stretches and he becomes like physically malleable. So 54 years of age. I'm not going to lie, guys. I want an older Reed Richards. I want someone that is older. Now, a few of my castings are on the younger side, but it's just because I wanted to provide a little bit of a range for you. So Rob Lowe, he does a really good job playing an intellectual, playing someone that can talk really fast and process information really quickly. And that's something that I think will lend itself really nicely to Reed Richards, as he maybe like calculates different things. He's spouting out information, and Susan's just trying to get his opinion on, you know, like the wedding dress or whatever. You know, like you might see her just struggling to get his attention in general. That's something that I think would be really cool. Rob Lowe, I personally see him in that role. He looks to me like Reed Richards, and he's got that kind of graying effect in some of his pictures. If you look at this face, man, to me it just says this is Mr. Fantastic. I don't know. Maybe seeing him some blue. There you go. That's him as a younger man, but nevertheless, he still looks very youthful. Even at 54. So he's my first pick. I'm not going to waste too much time. Let's jump ahead to the next selection here. Matthew Fox. Now, most of you guys, if you guys saw Lost or World War Z, he was in that, and most people know him from Lost. But he plays a guy who is a doctor, and he does a really good job playing that like leadership role. That he's kind of like, he's a complex character. He's got his own baggage. That I think would be really helpful in playing the role of Reed Richards. He was also kind of like a constant like lover. He was in like a love triangle throughout the entire show. And I think that would be really cool, because we've already seen him do really, really good dramatic acting. We got to see him in a couple of fight scenes, but Reed Richards, most of his action is going to be like heavy CGI. So it's not a super big deal. But if you have, say, like, I think 54-year-old Rob Lowe, 52-year-old Matthew Fox, they both look very much like that. And if you see some of the art for Mr. Fantastic, like right here where it has the shorter hair, it looks quite like Matthew Fox, like down here below. Do you see down at the bottom, the second picture from my finger here, and then also up top here, I think is a really nice comparison. Matthew Fox would be a really fun one. If you enjoy Lost, you've already seen him play the Doctor, and I think that would be really nice. You just got to amp up his kind of like quirky intellect, and then allow him to have more of that conflicted lover boy type of thing, where he kind of struggles in being a good husband and that good kind of father figure. Even though he's not the father to Johnny Storm, he kind of is that big brother-in-law type of mentor figure to the entire team. So that would be really cool. Next up on my, I'm going to recap really before I jump ahead. So Rob Lowe, 5'11", 54 years old. Matthew Fox, 6'2", so he is taller than Rob Lowe. He's 6'2", which is good stature. And then 52 years old, right in that sweet spot. So I really like him for that casting. Next up, we have John Krasinski, and I know what you're thinking. Oh my gosh, it's John again. Everybody picks John. Yes, they do. But I have been saying this since I made it was one of my first videos ever. It was my Spider-Man Homecoming theory video, and on it I showed a graphic of John Krasinski, like in a Photoshop of him, like I think it was from his like 13 hours image, kind of like Photoshop merged with the Captain America, and like he's got the straps and everything. So someone had done a image of that, a Photoshop, which I'll show you right here. But anyway, he's 39 years old, 6'3". Again, he's been on my list for, say, like I think I put him in a bonus pick for Cyclops or something. I've seen him now in the previous Fancasting Summit video I did. Someone had put him as Beast, which I really enjoyed. I really like that. Because he can play an intellectual. If you see him in Jack Ryan, he crunches numbers. He's the numbers guy, but he's also very physically capable, which I think would make a really nice dynamic, and we all know that Jim and Pam was one of the greatest love stories ever told on TV. So it was just so cool. I think he would be a really good pick, but I haven't made this video yet, but I have my selections for Susan Storm, and obviously everybody talks about him and Emily Blunt. If they were to do it together, that would be really cool, because then you'd have that on-screen dynamic that you had during A Quiet Place, and that would be kind of nice to see them together. As a package deal, I feel like this could justify itself. I mean, obviously he's a lot younger than my ideal age range. 39 years is one of the younger ages on my list. In fact, I think that is my second youngest. My youngest for the main casting, and then there's a bonus pick that's a little bit younger, but I'll explain that as well. So with him in a package deal with his wife, Emily Blunt, playing Reed and Sue, I think that could be really good. That would be just amazing. Or, like it shows right here, Jenna Fisher at 44 years old would be really great. So I'm going to go ahead and jump forward to the images. And obviously you guys have seen all of these. So these are pretty cool. This was the image that I had shown on my Spider-Man Homecoming Theory video. It looks really good. I mean, there's no denying that that looks really good. I mean, you might not like the way that his face is shaped. I mean, that was one of the reasons why I didn't like him so much for Cyclops, because to me, his face doesn't really look like Cyclops, but it looks a lot closer, in my opinion, to Reed Richards, especially in pictures like this. That looks pretty darn spot on. So, obviously a little hard to, fight. Like if you're trying to fight the mainstream, I get it. I totally appreciate that, but it still looks good. And I think it would work really nicely if you had him and Emily as a package deal. I wouldn't really want them separate, either one of them, but if you're going to go package deal, I would say do these guys, because that's pretty cool. So next, again, he's even taller than the last two picks. He's 6'3", but younger. He's 39 years old. And obviously you can make him play a little bit older. That's whatever. Next up on the list, Jon Hamm. And I've seen a lot of images for this one. I've seen a lot of castings for this on Instagram. I really like this one. I really fell in love with him. A lot of people like him in more of his serious roles. I actually really enjoyed him in Tag. That's kind of like where I really got to know him. But he was in Baby Driver. He was in Mad Men. He plays a lot of serious roles. But I think that he would do really nice in this role. He's got the head shape. I don't know what it is about his look, but he just, to me, he physically looks like Reed Richards. 6'1", and he's 47 years of age. I think he's really good in that role. And then a lot of people have called him out for this one as well. You can see there's, like images, comparisons here. I think someone did this right here, which looks really cool, based on the early 2000s edit of the poster for Fantastic Four. Then you also have him here. I mean, the head shape, you see what I'm saying, right? Like it's got the perfect jaw curve, the chin, like the lines up the forehead. I mean, he looks like the comic book, just straight up. It's hard for me to not see him in that now that I've seen the fan art for this and the comparisons. And that's one of the cool things about fan casting, is that side-by-side imagery gets to show off what someone is seeing in their head. You get to see their thought, basically, which is really cool. Same with photoshopping, like with the John Kay thing. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and jump on forward. So Jon Hamm, 6'1", and 47 years of age. So a little bit younger than my first two picks, but definitely, I think 8 years older than John Krasinski, and still in that height pocket between Rob Lowe and Matthew Fox. So let's keep moving. Next up on the list, number 5 is Patrick Dempsey. There we go. Next up on my list is Patrick Dempsey. Sorry about that, guys. So he was in Grey's Anatomy. He was in Enchanted, Maid of Honor. He's in a lot of different things, but most everybody knows him from Grey's Anatomy. He's a TV actor for the most part. And he's 53 years of age. This is the perfect age I would think of. It's 1 year younger than Rob Lowe, 1 year older than Matthew Fox. It's right there in that pocket, and he's also 5'10". Again, not incredibly tall, but it doesn't really matter. It'll help whoever's going to play Ben once you go through the transformation, he becomes the Thing. It'll help that visual aesthetic dynamic. If you want to show the whole team together, then whoever's playing the Thing, if it's not CGI, it'll help him look a lot bigger. You know what I mean? So that's kind of what I'm thinking here. But look at his dang face. I want to show you this. So let me see if I can. I'm gonna duplicate this. I don't know that there's very many images for him as Mr. Fantastic. Let me see if I can find this really quick. Reed Richards. See, this is funny. They got him here, Reed Richards. For once, I am at a loss for words. Mr. Fantastic, threat level XXXX. Alliance Underground, Avengers Disassembled. That's kind of fun. So that's a fun one. It's not really a side-by-side art comparison or anything like that. Nothing crazy, but he's played a doctor, kind of like how Matthew Fox did. And I think that this one, it looks close, very close, but it's also, he's just very distinguished, kind of narrow build, and I think that he would knock it out of the park. Personality-wise, I think he's right on the money. Lost. I keep thinking about Matthew Fox. But when Patrick Dempsey was on Grey's Anatomy, he was kind of in that like on and off again love situation with the main chick, forgetting what her name is. But I think he would be able to grab the whole like struggling in his marriage. Smartest guy in town, runs the show, but he's also got to be, caring and considerate of like social boundaries and also like setting limits for himself so that his marriage doesn't crumble, that kind of stuff. I think he would do really well in that. So that's one thing that I would like to see is Patrick Dempsey playing Reed Richards. So that to me sounds fun. Okay, so he's my number 5, and he's 5'10". He is 52 years of age. And so we have, let me see if I can do this. Yeah, so we have Rob Lowe. We've got Matthew Fox. We've got John Kay. We've got John Hamm and Patrick Dempsey. That's my top 5. Now, I'm going to get into some of the bonus picks for you guys. That way you can see some of the, like, I guess more along the lines of, like, fun selections that I did that were things that I would like to see, but they're not as, I think, pertinent or as close as these ones that I've shown. So next up on my list is Will Arnett. So and you'll see him on another list of mine. Actually, I really like Will Arnett. He's super funny, but he can also be very serious. He can be a very like strong on-screen presence. He's got an amazing voice. Like he does a lot of vocal roles. He did Slade. He did Lego Batman. He's done a lot of things, a lot of more funny roles. But I think that he could buckle down and do Reed Richards. Now, in the same spirit as stretching and going outside the box for him to be Reed Richards, he is 6'2". And, he is, if I'm not mistaken, he is 48 years of age. So he's a little bit younger than my other picks, but still old enough to kind of portray a mature Reed Richards. On the other hand, him as Ben Grimm does the exact same thing for me, if not more. I really like him as Ben. So even though this isn't a Ben Grimm fan casting, I'm going to go ahead and just mention that that's kind of one of the directions I was thinking for him, was that he's kind of pliable. He could do either, playing Reed Richards, or also because of his size, stature, and his comedic nature, and he's a little more gruff and his voice is really like thick and rough, I think that he would be really good as Ben as well, and probably almost more so as Ben, but I thought of him for Reed first, and so I wanted to share that with you guys as one of my bonus picks. And so I think a couple of people have done some images and art or whatever. I think this is some ones for Mr. Fantastic, Sue, Johnny, and then Ben. They have Will Arnett there as Ben. But I honestly think that he could do both. Probably better for him to do Ben. I don't know. You guys let me know down below what you think. Anyway, next up on my list after Will Arnett in the bonus picks is Patrick Wilson. And this one is a little bit more unlikely because he's currently tied up in Aquaman as Orm. And I am super excited. I just saw that film. It blew me away. I was having so much fun. I didn't even know what to do with myself. I was just like, every 5 seconds I was saying to my friend, I was like, dude, what the heck? Did you see that? Like, oh my gosh. And obviously, of course, he did see that because we were both in the theater together. But it was really great. 6'1". He did an impressive job playing Orm. I really like him. But a lot of people have been fan casting him. He's 45, 6'1". And, you know, they've been doing a lot of images. Like this one in particular was really popular. This is him and I believe Alice Eve next to him. And this is him as Reed Richards, which looks really good. He looks really geeky in this one, but that's good. He should be a geek because Reed Richards is a total nerd. And so I really like that there. Here's a good picture, kind of side by side, the eye shape, eyebrows, nose and mouth and ears, hairline, everything is pretty much spot on. So he would do really well. I think that he would be an easy blend into the character. And he did make my bonus pick just because he wasn't one of the first ones that like stood out to me, and I still feel honestly that the first 5 that I picked, in my opinion, are a lot closer to the character. But there's no doubt in my mind that he could pull it off. I prefer the other guys, so that's why he made the bonus list. So anyway, let's keep moving. Joseph Gordon-Levitt. So this is the last guy on my list, and the reason for that is because he's so dang young. Now, again, he's only 2 years younger than John Krasinski, and he is very, very short. He is 5'9", which is way shorter than I would want anyone to play Reed Richards. I think Reed should probably be somewhere around 5'11"-ish. So in that range, not too short. I mean, he shouldn't be shorter than the majority of your picks for Johnny Storm, I would think. But, and obviously you're going to be like stretching him out and he's going to be able to like bend everywhere. But yeah, it's kind of weird for me to pick someone at 37 years of age for Reed. I don't even like to go lower than that. Like I know there's some comics and stuff where they did younger Fantastic Four, but to me, the Fantastic Four is older. That's how it was originally. That's how it, I think, ought to be, at least for Reed and Ben and Sue kind of being a little bit younger. Johnny should be the young one, and there should be a contrast. Like there should be the kid, the crazy uncle, the mom and dad. You know, that's how it should be. And so for me, I think he's a little too young. But personality and acting wise, he is totally right for the role. So right for the role, just for me, it's kind of bothersome that he's so young. He doesn't actually look like Mr. Fantastic, although a lot of people have been doing like side-by-side comparisons. None of them to me look like Reed. Like this does not look like this. This does not look like this. And like the list goes on. Like no matter where you click it, I mean, I have yet to find any images that make him look like Reed Richards. To me, I just don't see it. So visually, it's totally a turnoff for me for him in the role. And then, but I do think that acting wise, he'd pull it off very well. He's a talented actor, and I like the guy. So that's, you know, I wanted to kind of, it's almost more of an honorable mention if we're going to go this route. But nevertheless, that's kind of where that was for me. So, yep. I'm going to leave that there, and you guys can let me know what you guys think about that. So I'm going to cut back to the other screen here, and I will recap all of the selections that we went over. So first up, we have Rob Lowe at 5'11" and 54 years of age. We have Matthew Fox at 6'2" and 52 years of age. John Krasinski at 6'3", 39 years of age. We have John Hamm at 6'1", 47 years of age. We have Patrick Dempsey at 5'10" and 52 years of age. And then we have the 3 bonus picks. So the 3 bonus picks are Will Arnett, 6'2", 52 years of age. 6'2", 48 years of age. Patrick Wilson, 6'1", 45 years of age. And then Joseph Gordon-Levitt, 5'9", 37 years of age. So those are my 5 and 3 picks for Mr. Fantastic, Reed Richards of the Fantastic Four. I'm really excited about that. Let me just skip over to the comments here and talk with you guys for a second. People are really liking Rob Lowe. John, I'm assuming John Krasinski is the best. Still love John as Reed. So yeah, I'm pretty much 30 to 40. I would say 30 to 40 years of age is young in my opinion, but 30 to 40 I would say is still doable. That's still a pretty good representation of the character. I would argue probably 40 to 55 is where I would want Reed Richards. And so, and then everybody else you kind of just adjust, you know, like in a younger direction, unless it's Doctor Doom or Ben could probably be in the same pocket as Reed as well, being that they're lifelong friends. So that's pretty much what I'm doing here. And I'm really glad that you guys are engaging with me here in the comments. I really appreciate you guys tuning in. And I want you guys to let me know down in the comments, who was your favorite person that I cast on my list? Who was your favorite person that maybe I didn't think of and didn't make my list? I want to hear from you guys who your casting choices are, who you would want to play Mr. Fantastic, and then what you want to see happen when they join the MCU. I'm going to be making a video very soon. Again, more fan castings to fill out the Fantastic Four and a few additional characters. I'm going to be doing a lot of the Fox. I'm focusing on Fox right now because the Fox deal is going to close in the next few months. So that's kind of what, if you guys want to get into my head a little bit, that's where I'm going with this. But I'll also be explaining in another video how Marvel can implement the Fantastic Four and the Fox characters and integrate them story-wise. Like, how can they make that make sense? So that's coming up. You guys can stay tuned for that. That's going to be a lot of fun. Make sure, if you haven't already, please subscribe. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, and also make sure to turn on the notification bell next to the subscribe button to be alerted right away when I go live next time. That way you guys can tune in, you can be a part of the comments, we can talk about these things, and then you guys don't ever have to miss a thing. That'll be great. So you guys stay tuned for more right here on The Stuff of Legend.